the Son, of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Let us continue to pray for peace, for justice. So many people suffer so much because of war and poverty and injustice. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and in the hour of our death. Amen. Mary, seat of wisdom,
Pray for us.
in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So this morning we begin a new chapter. It is entitled Variation in the Syllogism. But for this lecture I will study with you the hypothetical syllogism. Last class we studied categorical syllogism. I remember the characteristic of a categorical syllogism is to affirm. We affirm or we deny. Now, we don't affirm, we don't deny, we say if, maybe. So that is a hypothesis, a supposition. In Greek, hypothesis means to be put under, like supposition. I suppose. Supposition. Ponere in Latin, to put here, to put under. In Greek, it is the same thing, hypo, under, stasis, to stay. Hypostasis. Hypothetic. Hypothesis. Hypothesis. Hypothesis, I suppose. In science, in fact, work with hypothesis, as long as we are not absolutely sure of the conclusion. So what is a hypothetical syllogism? Here we have the definition. It is a syllogism defined in such a way that the major is cast in a conditional form. So we have major, minor, conclusion. But the characteristic, it is the major does not affirm a general principle, as we saw in categorical syllogism. We saw all men are mortal, general principle. Here, we don't affirm a general principle. We propose a possibility, if. And the classical example, the simplest example you can study is the following. And never forget it, because if you understand that, you understand everything. It is so obvious, but it is because it is obvious, it is easy to remember. So if Paul works, then Paul exists. No? If Paul works, but if he works, maybe it does not work, but if he works, surely then, it is if then. If then. So that is the measure. And that measure is constituted by two parts. There is here an antecedent and a consequent. I think you have some correction to do on your copy. Not consequence, suppress consequence. Instead of consequence, write condition. Because the first part is a condition.
It's fixed.
And the second is the condition by the condition.
You corrected it on the ones you gave.
It is corrected?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And in fact, what is that? Paul working is the cause that I can affirm its existence. So I can say that is the cause and here the effect. So if the effect then. Okay? That is the measure. That's the characteristic of hypothetical syllogism. Huh? I suppose. Supposes. Hypothesis. Okay? Now, we have many possibilities. A first possibility, I can say, Paul works. Oh. There is a convention when we express that kind of syllogism, and that convention is in logic, classical logic, and also in mathematical logic. We call that P. And the consequent, we call that Q. Okay, so we say if P, then Q. Huh? If P, then Q. And we express that in mathematics. If P, then Q. Okay? So we have a supposition. And we have the effect of that supposition. But now it's no more a supposition. I affirm that Paul works. Huh? I affirm P. Huh? I affirm P. Huh? I affirm P. What happened? Therefore, Paul exists. Therefore, Paul exists. Well, that is the conclusion. So we have a major. In the major, you have the condition, and the condition, or the consequent, the antecedent of the consequent, or the cause and the effect, and those are the same. That is P. And R, that is Q. Okay? Well, if I speak about cause, I will speak about effect. If I speak about condition, I speak about condition the. If I speak about antecedent, I speak about consequent. Okay? So here I affirm Q. So from the fact Paul works, he exists. Well, that form of a syllogism is called ponens. That is the minor here, not the conclusion. Why we call that form? Why we call affirming P? Affirming P, it is affirming Q. We call that ponens. But we just saw before that ponens comes from the verb ponere in Latin. And the participle past supine or past participle is positum. Positum. So positum. Ponens, I put on. Ponen means to put. To put on the table. To affirm. Posit, in English, to posit. To posit comes from the Latin positum, to ponum, to place, to affirm. So when I affirm P, or if I affirm the condition, the cause, I affirm the consequent. I affirm the effect. I affirm the cause. Paul works, therefore he exists. Okay? That is the model for everything. In fact, when you understand that little example, you understand everything, because there is only 4 possibilities. Why? Because 4 combinations. I can affirm P, I can deny P, I can affirm Q, I can deny Q. So 4 possibilities. All hypothetical syllogism can be reduced to that possibility. Okay, that is the first possibility. First possibility, I affirm the cause, I affirm the condition, I affirm the antecedent, I affirm P. Affirming P, therefore, I affirm Q. Effect, condition, consequence. Okay? Question? Now, suppose I say, I say Paul does not exist. Paul does not exist. That means I deny Q. And the symbol in logic to deny is the tilde in Espanol. When you write N, you write a tilde like that. Okay? So that, it's the same thing as if I write minus here. The same thing. Okay? So, okay. If I deny Q, I say Paul does not exist. What are you sure of? It does not work. It does not work. So that is clear. If it does not exist, Paul does not work. Paul. What is the meaning? If you deny Q, consequence, you deny P. You deny Q, you deny P. If you represent that, you will say, denying Q implies denying P. That is the modern presentation. I deny Q, I deny P. I deny Q, deny P. That I deny. Yes, brother.
Can I deny P and then I deny Q?
Can I P?
Yeah, deny the
Wait a minute. A step at a time, okay? A step at a time. Well, first step, we affirm P. Second step, we deny Q. You will see why I say that like that. Huh? Yes, your question is valid, but it's not time for me to explain that. Okay, so denying the effect, you deny the cause. Denying the consequence, you deny the antecedent. Okay? We deny. What is to deny? Is this to take off? For example, suppose you have a right to do something. I deny your right. I will take off from you your right. If there is a paper, for example, a certificate, I say no. That it does not come to you, I take off. In Latin, we say tollens. Tolle means take off. Well, you say that in Latin every time you sit the Mass on Thursday morning. I don't know if everybody understands what you say. Agnus Dei, qui tollis peccata mundi. Take off. Erase, delete. Take off. Tolle. In the Passion of Jesus, when the Jews were furious against Jesus, they say, tolle, tolle, crucifige him. Take it off, crucify him. Tolle. Tollens, that means I deny, I take off the positive, I affirm the negative. Therefore, the negative. So ponens, it is when I affirm P, I affirm Q. When tollens, when I deny Q, I deny P. Okay? Understand that? Those two syllogisms are valid. Only those two are valid. Ponens and tollens. The other, you will see, they are not valid. But for the moment, you know that to affirm P is to affirm Q. To deny Q is to deny P. To affirm it is ponens, I affirm, I pose it, and to deny it is tollens, to take off. Okay? Question? Now, we try the other. I told you, I prophesy with absolute certitude that only those two are valid. Now let us go to the other possibilities. And I answer your question. The third possibility, I can say, if Paul works, he exists, but Paul does not work. Though what I do, I deny P. I deny P in the minor. What is the conclusion?
You don't know. You don't know.
We don't know. Because if Paul does not work, he can exist but doing other things, no? He can also not exist. Therefore, we don't know. We don't know. If I affirm P, I know nothing about you. But that is classical philosophy. Philosophy of Aristotle, because the philosophy of Aristotle is linked with truth. Why we study logic? To find a good way to attain the truth. So we are interested with the truth, but in mathematics, we are not interested in the truth. Mathematics are not linked with the truth. I can say anything. I can say, for example, 3 cyclops plus 4 cyclops equal 7 cyclops. It is not true. 7 cyclops don't exist. But in mathematics, we don't refer to the reality. It is second degree of abstraction. So we don't refer to the reality. Therefore, mathematics are not linked with truth. And when we express logic in mathematical concept, the modern logician, because they use the mathematical approach, they are not linked with truth. What they say? They say, if I deny P, therefore I know 2 things. Paul exists and Paul does not exist. That means if I affirm I deny P, I have as a consequence Q or non-Q. That is the modern logic. Why they say that? Because they are not linked with truth. But we cannot say that, because it is contradictory to say that there is 2 possibilities at the same time. There is no possibility. There is only no possibility at all. Not anyone, nothing. If I say Paul works, I can affirm nothing. Of course, I can say many possibilities, but that is not the truth. When I say possibilities, is a possibility the truth? No. For example, if I say, it is possible that a day you will become a bishop, and you will become a monk, and you become a holy provincial of the sister of your community. Is a possibility? Is it true? No. Possibility. No, it's not true, because in fact she is not a provincial. In 20 years, when she will be mother provincial, he said that will be true, but it will be no more hypothetical, it will be real. So that is important to see the difference between classical logic and mathematical logic. In mathematics, we don't refer to the two. 5 leprechauns plus 8 leprechauns on St. Patrick's Day make 15 leprechauns. Leprechaun. But leprechaun does not exist. You know what is a leprechaun? Who is Irish here? You can explain what is a leprechaun? Yes, they go to the sister.
A little, like a green man who walks around, funny hat, and brings people good luck, right?
He's a bit chief, huh? He will tease the sister. In fact, you see leprechaun after 6, 7 glass of beer. Yes, brother.
What is that symbol in between the P and the Q?
Imply. Imply. Imply or is implied.
Does it always stay in that direction?
Yes, no. That is another trick of the modern. They don't compromise themselves, you know. It is possible. So when you read that, for example, here you say, I deny P, that imply that I can affirm P, Q or not Q. But if I will see the next step, I will affirm Q, and you will see that I cannot affirm P. Okay, a thing at a time. Okay? No. Let us go now to the fourth possibility. That is invalid. Huh? We say invalid because we cannot conclude that. We cannot conclude because we don't know. And when we don't know, we cannot affirm. Finally, we affirm, we deny. We deny, and now we affirm. So I affirm Paul exists. Can I say that Paul works?
No. Yes.
He can?
Yes, you
Oh,
can.
he can do anything except working. I do not know. Unknown. So when I affirm Q, I do not know the cause. When I affirm the effect, I cannot affirm the cause. If you want, here, if I affirm Q, Q is implied by P or non-P. Now, a big problem here. You are a detective. You are a detective. And you say 911 call you. They say, hey, go to that room, that house, we found a dead body, a corpse. So you arrive there, you see the corpse. What do you see? You see the effect. You see the effect, no?
Yes.
Can you say, I know, Joe Blow did that?
No.
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 You see the effect, can you ignore the cause? No. Well, that is excessively serious in theology, in philosophy of God. How do you know God?
Creation.
What is the creation?
Effect.
Touchy. And me, this affirmation is very serious. We cannot know God from His creation. Okay, I come back to my detective. No, it's serious, no, huh? Very serious. The detective, he said a dead body, a corpse. Huh? What he will do? He will search for clues and for a cause. But there are many, 350 million people in the United States. So we have to find who is the... Okay, so from clue, from some witnesses, finally we try. That takes a long time, sometimes takes years, no? Years, to arrive to a conclusion, to the cause. Now think about how men attain the knowledge of God. Can he attain directly looking at the beautiful flower, the beautiful butterfly, the beautiful moon? You say, all that comes from God?
No.
But you see, Father, every Sunday, when I say my breviary, I say, mountain of the Lord, praise the Lord, soul, son of the Lord, bless the Lord. How can you affirm that? How can you affirm that? From the creation, you say, oh, that is made by God. Because you
Believe.
Believe, exactly. Because you have faith. Somebody who has not faith. A faith is a gift. Huh? You receive gift at your baptism, etc. But somebody he has no faith. He was educated in a communist family, anti-Catholic, anti-Christian. You know? Will he discover God immediately?
No.
No.
Reason.
But if he reason,
Yeah.
reason, he will try to find all the possibility of creation. Is creation made by matter, like it is the teaching of Marxists, materialists? Even capitalist materialists say the same thing. Huh? Not only communists, even capitalist materialists say everything is made by matter. It is matter that produces matter. Even mind, that is fruit of matter. We say, no, impossible. Okay. Is creation the fruit of chance? Huh? Random chance?
Nope.
You know? You remember those who study with Father Callahan or with Dr. Rand? Huh? The atomist, what they said, the atomist, the world is made with atoms, and those atoms have little hook. Huh? And they are thrown, I don't know who threw them, but they are thrown into space, and they attach. And I have a man, I have a dog, I have a cat, I have a tree, you know? Made by chance. Well, even today, many scientists say that all that is made by chance. So if he concludes that is the fruit of chance, for him the cause of creation is chance. For a Marxist, the cause of creation is matter. But if I say that is impossible that chance produce regularity, impossible. Finally, I have only one. It is from one who produced from nothing, etc. Finally, I arrived to the idea of that. And the second semester, we studied that with St. Thomas, the 5 proof. Huh? And also count the moral proof. Because St. Thomas is not the only one to think about the proof of the existence of God. Other philosophers, also Leibniz. Huh? So, but do I attain the knowledge of God as creator, as cause of the effect immediately? No. So what I must say that if I know the effect, I cannot know the cause directly. I will know the cause and directly after a long time. Okay? So finally, we can say, when we know the effect, we cannot know the cause. Or if we know the cause, it's only after a long research. Long reasoning. Okay? Here the fourth possibility. Two are valid. Ponens and tolerance. Ponens, I affirm P. Tolerance, I deny Q. The other are invalid. Okay? You are ready for the rest. You know everything now. No, but that is very important. Because sometimes that seems very complicated. What do you do? I suggest you, when you have hypothetical sentence, write the letter. Huh? The first part is P. What begin by if is P. What begin by then is Q. Why? Because that is the supposition, hypothesis, that is the consequence, huh? The cause and the effect. If you know that, you can settle every hypothetical syllogism. Every. With this, I will say with this simple example, if all works. Think about that. Every time you have a difficulty, come back to Paul. Come back to Paul, and be sure you will have a solution. Okay. I go now. So on page 99, I give you many examples. Huh? You have here 99. If I drink this poison, I will be sick. Okay? Now, if I drink this, let's not do that.
I go down.
You know, in fact here it is to learn a method. I gave you the method. After that you can study any. There is no problem for you. But you have to master the method. Okay? But it's not difficult. Think about Paul. If you don't like Paul, write Mary. Or I don't know, Teresa or Martha, the name we want. Okay?
How about Father Legault?
Father Legault. Okay, Father Michel. Okay. The example is so obvious. It is so obvious. So you follow that mechanically, there is no problem. Okay? Okay, come back now. If I drink this poison, now if I drink this poison, then, well, not every time then is written. Huh? Then most of the time is not written. It is understood, but it is there in the consequence. Then I will be sick. Okay. Oh. The first possibility, ponens, what is that? I affirm P. If I affirm P, what will happen? I affirm Q. So if I drink the poison, therefore I am sick. Okay, first point. Second possibility, we deny Q. I am not sick. Surely I did not drink the poison. No?
Yeah.
Yes.
Could you reverse the clauses and say, I will be sick because I drank the poison?
Yeah, of course it's that. Because that is the cause. That is the effect. You know, you can say, I will be sick because I drank it. Sure. If I drink the poison, or I drink one or the other.
It doesn't matter.
But most of the time we begin by the supposition, because it is hypothetical syllogism. But we can say, I am sick because I drank the poison. I am sick because I ate too much chocolate. Okay? What are the other possibilities? What is that here? That is ponens. That is tolerance. I deny. I ponens P. I did tolerance Q. Okay? Now, I affirm P. I drink this poison. Excuse me. I deny P. I did not drink. I don't drink the poison. But, I am sick. Can I say that I did not drink the poison? I will not be sick? No. I can be sick or not. I can be sick because another cause. Okay? And that is invalid. Or we do to nothing. And finally, the last possibility, it is, I affirm Q. That means I am sick. Can I conclude it is because I drank a poison? No. I can be sick for many other reasons. We don't know. And that here, you know, what is the role of the doctor? You are sick, you go to the doctor. You are sick. And the doctor, when he look at you, oh sister, I know. You drink too much holy water. No, the doctor reacts you when he will make a diagnosis. He will try, he will gnosis means to know. Know, interesting, okay, to know. He will try to know true, that means through questions, he will try to know what is the cause of your sickness. It cannot know directly. It is why? Because we cannot start from the effect to conclude to the cause. We can start from the cause to go to the effect. But we cannot start from the effect to conclude to the... And if... Okay, interesting. I take the opportunity to explain something here. When I start from the effect, the cause, I go to the effect. In fact, what I do, I apply a general principle. All those who drink poison are sick. In fact, poison many times kills. So that's a general principle. And what I do, I apply that to a certain circumstance. We call that deduction. In fact, that here, from the cause to the effect is a deduction. But to start from the effect to the cause, we can do that only through induction. And induction means to experimentation, to reference to the reality, to the cause. Interesting. And I will explain that at the end of the chapter on induction and deduction. Induction, we start from a general principle. All men are mortal. Seminarians are mortal. No, are men. Okay, therefore they are mortal. General principle, apply, deduction. If I start from the effect, I want to come back to the cause. The unique way it is induction. The name, here it is a priori, before experimentation. I use only my judgment, my reason. Here I have to use experimentation. A posteriori, we say a posteriori. That means after, in Latin, posterior, after experimentation. Here, prior, before. The prior, the sister or the monk who is the superior of the community, a prior. Prior, before, above. So from before experimentation, when we conclude, it is a deduction. After experimentation, we conclude it is an induction. Interesting? Those words, you know, everything we study now will be used in the future. I realize the more I teach logic, the more I realize how it is important to acquire a new language. When we speak in the future about deduction, induction, a priori, a posteriori, all that. Okay? Now you can read by yourself the other example. There is one exception to that. One exception. If you have that on page 101. Well, it is the case of a definition. If I say, if man is rational, no, if he is rational, he is a man. He is a man, therefore he is rational. Or he is rational, therefore he is a man. No. In fact, in the definition, we can go from one to the other. And definition, that's up here. We call that coterminous. They are coterminous. Well, okay, I give you the example here. In the case of definition, or the case when the term, the predicate is essential to the subject. For example, if I say God is just, the predicate just is essential to God. I can say just is God because justice is God. Just is justice. You know, it is only one in Him. Everything is one in Him. But okay, I go here. I say if he is a rational animal, therefore, then he is a man. I can say also, if he is a man, he is a rational animal, no?
Yeah.
I cannot say that.
You can.
I can say one or the other. I can say a triangle is a three-angled and three-sided figure. Or I can say a three-angled and three-sided figure is a triangle. Okay? Well, that is the case of definition. It is one exception. And when that happened if the consequent, if Q is linked to P as something essential. You remember when we studied the predicable? You remember that?
Yeah.
I hope, huh? You have the subject and the predicate. And we saw how predicable is it? How the predicate is united to the subject. It can be united in an essential way. You remember that?
Yes.
Or accidental. Property or inseparable accident and separable accident. Okay? But when it is here, when Q is an essence for the essence, either a genus, animal, or either a specific difference, or either the species itself, or property, I can put one for the other. For example, if I say, if these Indians are able to laugh, they are human, they are intelligent. I can say, if they are intelligent, these Indians must be able to laugh. I can say both or the other, no? Because one is essentially or linked as a property, laugh, with the subject. In fact, it is, when we study the predicable, genus, specific difference, a species, and property. The other, I cannot say that. I cannot say that a man is a good golfer. A golfer is a man. Yes, brother.
You're saying genus is one of those?
Pardon?
Genus? You're saying genus?
Genus.
Genus, you can switch back and forth?
Genus, specific difference, and species. You know, the three essential predicable. That means the predicable indicating that the predicate is united with the subject in an essential way. Huh? For example, if I say God is merciful, how merciful is united to God? Essential. If I say Francis is merciful, how it is united? Accidental. So I can hear, intervene, but not I cannot hear.
Could you give an example for genus?
Genus, animal. Man is an animal. An animal can be a man.
So you,
In fact, it is not perfect. The perfect conversion is, in fact, it is, you are right, huh? The perfect conversion is specific difference and species. Huh? But, yes, you're right.
the notes just listed specific difference.
Yes, there is no genus. I apologize. Mea culpa, and maxima culpa. But sometimes when people now say that, tua culpa, huh? The husband with his wife, tua culpa, tua maxima culpa. So it's mea culpa. Okay. No, you are right. Huh? A genus cannot fit because it's not complete. Huh? It's not a complete definition. Good. Okay. In fact, I told to you before that kind of affirmation, in fact, is only a definition. Huh? What is man? Column, rational, and okay, that is a definition. But instead of throwing that, I say is. I can say man is a rational animal, or rational animal is a man. Yep. Now let us go to the relation between the hypothetical syllogism and the categorical syllogism. In fact, if the supposition, if the hypothesis is verified, like that happened in science, the hypothetical syllogism will become a categorical syllogism. You know, for example, when the company Bayer created aspirin, I suppose it's Bayer, maybe another company also. So they made, during 10 years, experimentation, induction. Finally, after maybe millions of experiences, they can affirm that aspirin is good for headache. Or if you have a headache, you can use aspirin. Okay? That is the general principle. So that means from a hypothesis, scientists, after sufficient number of experimentation, can affirm the conclusion of their research, that conclusion become a general principle. I give you an example, probably, that happened in the history of the humankind. Our ancestor in the cave, cavemen, cave women, they ate after killing. They kill a rabbit or they kill hen. They ate crude, the meat crude, no? Probably, I'm sure of that. But you know, they saw their problem, they were sick, etc. Finally, a man a day, I don't know, by accident, he discovered fire. The discovery of fire is one of the greatest discoveries in the humankind, you know that. Huh? We forget that. The caveman was not stupid, it is our ancestor. So what happened? But they say, hey, let us try to cook. So they cook the meat, and when they cook the meat, and finally they say, you know, when we cook the meat, we have no pain in our belly. We don't suffer. So conclusion, now let us cook the meat. Meat must be cooked before being eaten. The Jews and Muslims in the East, they realize that when they eat pork, pig, they have sick. They have a lot of diseases. You see, no more pig. But they give a spiritual dimension to that. But like leprosy. So, but that's the fruit of induction. Induction. Finally, your mother used the general principle. Before giving to my children meat, I will cook them. Does she say that? No. No, but she does that. That means when you apply, we cook your meat, you apply a general principle. The meat must be cooked. After that, you apply. That means for 100 years, thousands of years, man, little by little, through experiences, he discovered that meat must be cooked if he does not want to be sick. Don't forget, at that time, they have no refrigerator, you know that, huh? The caveman has no refrigerator, no electricity, no iPad, no computer. You know that? I must say that to the children today because they think everyone is born with the iPad in his hand, like a Canadian is born with a skate in his feet. Yes, we must. And now, because our ancestors, through induction, through experimentation, they discovered the necessity for a good health to cook meat, and now all our mothers cook meat. My mother cooked meat. Your mother also. She applied the general principle. So therefore, the fruit, the conclusion of experimentation, the conclusion of induction became a universal principle. Now it is a deduction. Okay? So, why I say that? Because I say every hypothetical syllogism must be able to be transformed in a categorical syllogism. So we try to do that now. Okay? You have on page 101, no? A relation between hypothetical and categorical syllogism. For example, I will take an example simpler than that. I will use Paul, okay? I will come back to Paul. Or Mary if you want. Huh? If Paul works, then he exists. No, excuse me, I will not write that like that, it's too much. I will try to, if Paul works, he exists. Well, that is the major. That is the hypothetical syllogism. Okay? Paul works. Conclusion, Paul exists. Well, that is the hypothetical. How can we transform that in a categorical syllogism? And if you follow the grid on page 101, you look at the the first proposition, we call the major, will become also here a major. We have to transform that if Paul works, he exists into a major. So what can we do? How I can express here a general, universal principle?
Anyone who works exists?
Yes, very good. Everyone who works, every working one, everyone who works, every working. I don't say men because women work also. Every working one, is existing being, is existing. Because to say existing being, it is a redundance. It is to say the same thing. To be is to exist. And to exist is to be. So if I say existing being, it is being at the second level. Okay. Now what I will say, Paul is working. Paul works. Paul is a working one. Working person, working one. Therefore, Paul exists. Okay? Is existing. Is existing. If I say Paul is, only God can say that. Because the existence is not our essence. Okay, so is existing. Is existing reality, etc. Wow. What is the subject? Paul. What is the predicate? Existing, undistributed. Go here. Every working one, what is that?
Middle.
The middle term. The working one is the middle term. The middle term must be distributed. Here it is undistributed. Finally, is existing undistributed. So that means the major here must have to be transformed into a universal principle. In hypothesis, it is Paul. If Paul. Here I say not Paul, I say everyone. Who works. Paul works. No, I say here everyone. So I start from a simple or particular to go to a general principle. That is a categorical syllogism. Okay, let us go to the second possibility. What is the second possibility? Paul does not exist, no?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yes.
Ponens
Dollar.
and tollens. Tollens, it is to deny. Here I affirm P, therefore I affirm Q. Huh? Now, suppose I say the same thing. If Paul works, E exists. Paul does not exist. Because I have to deny Q, huh? But does not exist. Therefore, Paul, excuse me, does not exist. Therefore, Paul does not work. So, P, I deny Q, I deny P. How can we transform that into is the general principle the same? Yeah? The general principle should be the same. So everyone, every working, everyone who works, every working one, or working being, one, is existing. The general principle is the same. Now, what do we say? We say, Paul does not exist. So Paul is not existing. Is not existing, it does not exist. Conclusion, Paul is not working. No, is not working. Yes, okay, is not working. So what is the subject? Paul is
Negative.
not.
Yes.
Conclusion is not. What is that? Predicate. What is the extension of the predicate? Distributed. Okay. Here, subject Paul. Here it is Paul. It does not exist. What is exist? Middle term. Middle term. What is the extension of the middle term here? Distributed. Here, undistributed. Finally, here, this, that is distributed. So I transform the hypothetical syllogism into a practical syllogism. That is tolerant. That means every hypothetical syllogism can be transformed into another. Can I transform the other syllogism? If I affirm Q, if I deny P?
No.
No. Why? Because they are
Unknown.
unknown. Invalid, unknown. Yes, brother.
So when you take the condition to a universal fact, you always, when you convert the hypothetical to the categorical, will you always end up with a major premise that's an A premise?
That must be A or E.
Okay, you can't have
Can be E also. But if it is E, it must be E affirmative. It cannot be negative. It must be offensive. It must be offensive. Okay? But the general principle is E. Be attentive. Because sometimes you will have a negative proposition, but, okay. I give you an example. All right. If you do not study, that is not your case. It's hypothetical. If you do not study, you will not succeed. If you do not study, you will not study. What I can say as a universal principle, all those who do not study, they will not succeed. Okay? Now, I say, I affirm P. Be careful. Think, don't answer, think, insert in your mind. What is, in that case, to affirm P?
Not.
It is to say you do not study. So the affirmation P here represents a negation. So that means P can express an affirmation proposition, affirmative or a negative. So if I affirm, in fact I deny. I deny that I study. That means I affirm that is that. I affirm. Positive. Therefore, what will the consequence? I will affirm Q. What is Q? It will not succeed. Understand? Very important. Therefore, the affirmation is not here. The affirmation, it is when you say exactly what is here. And what is here? You did not study. What is there? You will not succeed. Now, if I say, I deny Q. What is the meaning of deny Q? Think. Don't do the answer. Think in your mind. I deny you will not succeed. Therefore, you will succeed. You deny the negation. You deny a negation, therefore you have an affirmation. But in the syllogism, hypothetical, that is a negation. You deny that. It could be also an affirmation here, as we said before. It can be. So that here, negative or affirmative, is not important. What is important? It is the fact I deny what I say here. What I say here, you will not succeed. I deny that you will not succeed. Therefore, you will succeed. I know for some students it is a problem. You remember when we studied -1, multiply by -1, give 1. It's not easy to understand that, because it is negative. That means you have a debt of $50,000, for example. You have a debt, therefore you have in the in the red. But I deny your debt. Therefore, I give you $50. I deny the denial. I deny the denial, therefore I affirm. Two negations give me an affirmation. And for some students, that is a stumbling block, okay? But you know what is important? It is the content of the P. What P contains? You do not study. If I deny P, I deny that you do not study, therefore you study. Okay? I give you some exercises with multiple affirmations. Well, I will not study that today, but it's interesting because sometimes the difficulty for the student is here. The difficulty to imagine that to deny some negation is to affirm. And to deny, if I say you are not non-lazy. No, I cannot say that to you. You are not non-dishonest. Therefore, we are honest. You know, we deny a denial. Therefore, I affirm. Okay? Well, I go now by page 102, that I explained that already. Everything is explained. Now, I think page 104, I think. Huh? Yes, 104. Necessity between cause and effect. The necessity. In fact, you know, when we study categorical syllogism, what was the necessity between the premises and the conclusion? We call that inference. You remember, huh? Inference. Huh? That necessity, that intellectual necessity between the major and the conclusion, inference. But we have also a necessity, even if hypothetical, because the conclusion follow necessarily from what I affirmed before. Of course, the necessity is conditional, but it is a necessity also. You know? For example, if you do not study, you will not succeed. If I affirm you do not study, you do not succeed will come necessarily. Ponens and tollens both imply a necessity, but the two others imply no necessity. And because of that, they are invalid or they are unknown. Only the valid hypothetical syllogism imply a necessity. That means only those I can conclude to something. Okay, well, you go, you turn, all that is explained. I go to page 105. Well, in fact, I already, during the class, explained many things in that page here. Here are the sentences. You have a demonstration, we call rational demonstration, and you have experimental demonstration. Well, if you put the 2 pages on 105 and 106. But 105 is a deduction. But we saw before what is a deduction. Huh? We start from the essence of a thing. Remember, predicable, essential, we go to the essence. Huh? And we can affirm some property from the essence of a thing. Okay? So, a priori, I explained that before. Yeah, that a priori, before experimentation. No? Propter quid. But here I will not insist on that. Here it is. As long as the subject and the attribute are convertible. That means, you remember, man is a rational animal. Rational animal is man. God is infinitely powerful. Infinitely powerful is God. Okay? Analysis. In fact, when I say that, when I say God is merciful, do I add anything to God? No. I analyze. I try to discover who is God. I discover that in God there is mercy. I study man. I discover that in man there is animality and rationality. That it is, we call analytical. The affirmation is analytical. And in fact, the cause, the middle term, is a cause of the attribute. For example, if I say, the human soul is immortal. The soul of man is immortal. Why? Because it is incorruptible. So the middle term is the cause of the conclusion. That is, we call demonstration. In fact, I will come back on that the last class of the semester. But already you have all the elements not to study that. And the other, it is page 106. It is the induction. Induction is a demonstration through experience. We call that experimental demonstration. In fact, what I try to do, I try to put on this page all that we studied before. Many times I speak about induction, I speak about deduction, I speak about analysis, analytical, everything is here. It's a summary. So induction, from facts to general principle. You remember the caveman? From experimentation, finally, we have to cook the meat. Meat, okay? From the sensible order to the intelligible order. It is a posteriori, that means from after experiences. It is because You remember? Because. Huh? So we start from the effect and we are searching for the cause. Huh? My child is sick because, etc. But no, okay. And finally, it is synthetic. If I say John is just, John is merciful, I add something to John. It is not essential to John. Here you understand the importance to know the predicable. To know the predicate. I need to know the relation between the predicate and the subject. If it is essential predicate, a link or accidental link, attribution. Okay? It is synthetic. So when I say John is a good footballer, is a good footballer, but a good footballer is not in the essence of John. It is something added to John. It is synthetic. Synthetic is to put together. Analytic, it is to separate. And finally, the middle term is an effect of the attribute. And I will give you an example. John is a good golfer, and the fact is a good golfer. He won many tournaments, etc. But I will not insist too much on that, because chapter 13 we study fallacies, and the last chapter will be about we call material logic. In material logic, it is that. Those two chapters are very important because they summarize. And why I insist on that? Because, always the same answer, it will be used in theology. When we study next semester, we study philosophy of God, we will use that. You have to understand what is a priori, what is analytic, what is synthetic, what is passed from cause to effect, or form to effect to cause. What is induction, what is deduction. That is elementary. You must know that, because it is the language they use in philosophy of God. And when you study God one and Triune with Mr. Fowler, one of the teacher, you have to use those concepts. Okay, I wish you a good weekend.
Thank you.